Thank you for coming. At this time, it's my privilege to bring up all your fellow veterans. So I'm going to call them up in this order, and hopefully they can give a quick 1 minute or so bio on themselves, what they did or whatever. And in case if I miss anybody, get ready to stand up too. Okay, Bob Gratkin, you get to lead off. And following Bob is Robert Thurman. Is Robert Thurman here? Robert Thurman's not here.
Well, it's my pleasure to serve our country. I went to Fort Ord for my basic training, Fort Sill for my advanced training, and then moved on to Fort Lewis, Washington, and from there I deployed out to Vietnam. Being in the service was one of the greatest experiences I ever had because I developed, I grew, and I had the opportunity to study while I was there between working in the military. Anyway, I recommend the military service to every one of our children because it helps them develop. It helps them develop in ways that they didn't get in school. So thank you.
Thank you, Bob. It's Robert Thurman in the house. MIA, missing in action. Zahid Salinas, is he here? He's on reserve. Okay. Okay. Our tough guys, Joseph Nguyen and Spencer Velez, U.S. Marine Corps. I always consider you're the toughest, first to respond. You know, the Marines are always first to go in. Come on down, guys.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Joseph Nguyen. I served in the United States Marine Corps, as you guys know. I was a motor transport maintenance. Pretty much I fix and inspect all military assets. Yeah, I'm Spencer Velez. Joseph and I actually served together in the Marine Corps. We went to Afghanistan together. I was in for 14 years. I was a maintenance chief. I was also a combat marksmanship instructor as well as a martial arts instructor. I got to go all over the world. Norway was probably one of my favorite places to ever visit. It was a really great experience. So thank you everybody for your applause and for allowing us to be here.
Thank you for the service.
Wow.
Okay. Richard Zaletta and Steve Getz, U.S. Navy.
Good morning, everybody. Richard Zaletta, United States Navy. I don't know who that young man is up there. That was me at age 17, and also my boot camp graduation picture, Company 227. I was on what's called an LST, Land Sea Transport. When I was in, it was one of the second largest ships next to an aircraft carrier. We got to carry the Marines and the Army. So we get to carry them to all the battles and do all the important things that they needed to do, and we just kind of kick back off the ocean. So it was a great tour. I do agree with Bob, the best experience in my life. It helped me grow, it helped me mature, and I do agree, I think every child coming out of high school should serve at least 2 years.
Steve Getz, Navy, two separate tours of duty in Vietnam, 1967, 1968. Unbelievable experience. Boy, did I grow up fast. Changed my whole life for the better. I agree with everything that's been said already. Probably the highlight of being in the Navy was I was on the Apollo 10 pickup mission off the coast of Samoa. Unbelievable. I got to watch the re-entry and the recovery of the capsule, met the astronauts, indescribable. You know, I recommend anyone that possibly can to be in the service. It's just incredible, beyond words.
Thank you. Okay, Vince Veneziano, Italian military. All the way from Italy. Yeah, you've traveled the furthest.
I don't know who that guy is, but those days there was no choice. I made about a couple weeks late to get there, and the police shot my house. But I agree with those guys. On the way, it's the most experience you can be getting in the army. When you get there, I always say, wow, when those years go by, that year and a half, 2 years, whatever. But then when you get to the last week, you feel like you get lost and says, well, I could stay a couple more days.
Okay, thanks, Vince. All right, our senior airman, Mr. Thomas Berge from back in the Korean War. He goes all the way back.
I thought you were going to say Civil War.
Are you still alive?
I am still alive. Yeah, I enjoyed my years in the Air Force. I didn't get into any battles or anything, but I did. I was a radar repairman, and believe it or not, when most of my friends all got out of the service, they all became radio and TV repairmen and opened up little shops. And I thought, I don't want to do that. So that's why I got into real estate. But anyway, as the rest of them said, it was one of the greatest experiences I ever had. I made terrific friends that I had all my life, and gave me the opportunity to go to college because I was a lousy student in high school. And when I got out of the service, I then turned around and went to USC, and the rest is history. But I did want to mention one other thing that was kind of interesting. After I got out of the service, and later on I was appointed by Ronald Reagan to be on the local draft board here in San Gabriel. And I think Bob was one of the guys I caught. Sorry, Bob. But anyway, that was an experience. I still remember to this day when this guy walks into the draft board, and he walks in with his hand, carrying a purse in his hand, and he runs up to me and gives me a kiss on the cheek. Obviously, he wanted to get a deferment. So they don't do that anymore, but anyway, that's nice.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
And I guess we want to introduce Tom Berge Jr.,
He's
U.S.
at
Air Force.
NAR in San Francisco.
You want to?
Well, Tom is at NAR in San Francisco. Yeah, he was in the Air Force for, I guess, 4 years. And he spent his time in...
5.5 years.
Was he?
5.5.
I know he was in there for a long time. And he spent his time in Spain, was one of his main projects. And yeah, that's what he did. I don't know much more about it than that.
Some dead you are.
Yeah, right. Well, I just
You just produce them and send them off.
send him money.
Send them money. All right, I'm Mel Wong. I get to wrap this thing up, I guess, real quick. I joined the Navy back in 1965. Spent 4.5 years, of which 4 years was on the USS Remora. The USS Remora is a submarine, an old diesel boat. Wow. You know what an old diesel man looks like? Somebody that you walk around and then they got the nose up in the air and they say, where the heck did sewer piper come from? You know, every time we come in, well, because we not have showers open on the sub. Oh, that's a hard life, but somebody's got to do it.
Yeah.
I was a radio man, and I was deployed. You know, when they say, join the Navy, see the world, yeah, I saw the world. I even missed my submarine out of Barcelona. They got underway without me. MIA. No, it was a very good experience because then I was a senior man. There was 2 other people below me that also missed it. So I grabbed them, checked in on the carrier USS Forrestal in Barcelona. We sat on the Forrestal for 5 days. watching them launch planes, bringing them back, hitting a French frigate, and every time they bombed them, they would send over there to patch it up. And I was a submarine radioman. I knew my protocol was that we were supposed to do the coup de grace. In other words, we were supposed to send a live torpedo. We've never sent a torpedo in all my years, a live one. We've sent a lot of practice torpedoes, but we were supposed to send a live one to finish it off, but no submarine. So I guess we spent another 5 days on there until they could get us to NATO headquarters in Italy. So I spent a few days there till my submarine came in Valletta, Malta. So that's an experience. I've done sub-pack tours. We did a lot of secret missions back in the Vietnam War. We don't go to Vietnam, we just sneak around.
You're one of those dogs.
What was their names that you were late for the sub?
What was her name?
What was their names?
Do I keep any secrets? Anyway, so, you know, it's interesting. You really need to get your kids into the service if they've never or haven't got an idea what they're going to do. I had no clue what I was going to do when I graduated high school. And I got kicked around a little bit, a lot too. I mean, E5. Once you get E5, your stripes, and then you're on your way. So I finished at E5, E4. But anyway, submarines was my calling because I did not want to go to Vietnam. Well, I have bad legs. I couldn't carry a backpack to save my life. So, and I don't know how to swim either. Maybe Hawaii, you name it. But anyway, I made it through 4.5 years. When I got out, it was it. So I didn't even join the reserve.
Thank you.
Thank you,
to
everyone.
all members for all your services.
For legions. Foreign legions.
Foreign Legion. My name is Raymond Wu, and I'm in the Army. And I have three of these. One is Louis, Thomas, and Robert.
Stand up, Liz.
Hello, my name is Louis Kwan, and I'm one of the members of the Chinatown American Legion Post 628.
Yeah, my name is Tommy Shea. I belong to American Legion Post Chinatown 628, and I'm also a Vietnam vet. When you join American Legion, come and see us, okay? We need some more people, okay?
Okay, my name is Robert Liu, and I was past Vice Commander of American Legion Post 628 in Chinatown, and I served 8 years in Marine Corps. Okay, when I first went in, I got drafted first in the Army. I went to school for 2 years to get the conferment. After I got 2 years, graduated from LA Trade Tech as an aircraft mechanic. Then they got me at, it used to be called Douglas Aircraft. I was going through an apprentice program. So my 2S became 1A. So I went down to the draft board. Okay, you pass the physical. You have 30 days to either report in or go join the Navy, the Army, or wherever you want to join the Air Force. I tried to get in the Air Force. I couldn't get in. They say, you got to go Navy, 4 years. That's too long. So this is, the only program we got is the Marine Corps Reserves. So what I did, if you could pass the test, you could join our Marine Corps. So I went out and joined. I passed it. I was a mechanic, 3516, mechanic and truck driver, did the maintenance, all right? So then all that time, we had to go out to Camp Pendleton, and over to charge of bringing the big old 105 artillery rounds, training every month, go out in the field, shooting against the mountains, wasting the government's taxpayer money, I thought it was. We sleep out there in the cold for the weekend, come back on Sunday night, to leave on Friday night. If you weren't show up on Friday night, you were AWOL. So next day later, you'd be automatically shipped to Vietnam. That's how close I was. They were really strict. But I thought I was gonna die in boot camp in the Marine Corps. It was the hardest thing I did in my life. You never forget. So once I did that, after 6 years, I got a job working in Northrop Grumman. Have you heard of Northrop Grumman? Yeah. Well, anyway, this is a big defense contractor. I started out as a mechanic there. After I got out active duty, 6 months training. So I started there as a 747 working as a mechanic. Then I went on, so I'm going back to school. I took advantage of the GI Bill. So I went back to school to learn quality control. So I changed my profession after 10 years, working with the same company. Then, 10 more years, I just said, oh, I want to be an engineer. So I went back to school to become an engineer. So I left Northrop after I retired after 31 years as a quality control engineer for Northrop Grumman. I worked on a lot of secret programs. From the B-2 bomber, 25 years ago, I couldn't even talk about it, 7 days a week. Wow. And that's why I retired early. I retired at 55, because I had already worked 31 years. But anything I can say, I shipped over after 6. They gave me an easier job. So during that time when I shipped over, I was in intelligence, I was bilingual. So I spoke Chinese fluently. So they used me as intelligence to practice Chinese language back and forth. I was like POW, no physical, just talking. So we go to classes every month at the Reserve Center. The Reserve Center is by Dodger Stadium. They moved to Seal Beach. Oh. There used to be an old Marine Corps Reserve Center there back in the 60s and the 50s. So I went on and shipped over 2 more years, had an easier job. I was a captain's driver because he had 2 for 1. He had a driver and a mechanic and a translator. So we used to go to this restaurant, you wouldn't believe. They all drink, I could drink, I just drive. Yeah, pretty funny. So anyway, after doing 8 years, they said, oh, ship over, we'll make you a 1 officer. I said, where do I have to go? You have to go to Monterey to learn Mandarin, because I didn't know Mandarin. I knew Cantonese. So I said, no, a little dangerous. I got a good civilian job. Thanks, but no thanks. 8 years long enough. And then I was figuring out, well, they pay a lot of money. Well, I'd rather have my life. I can still walk and talk. Then you might make a few extra dollars, but it's very dangerous if you want to go overseas to be a spy. That's what you're more or less a spy for the U.S. So I had a few friends that were in the Air Force. They made it the 2nd time, 3rd time they caught him. Never came back. They found his body. And that was the end of him. He was in Air Force intelligence. So it was very dangerous, but it's a good experience. It taught me a lot of things that I would never known if I was in the military. From the bottom up. And then on top of that, I was a fireman too, first responder in Northrop Grumman. I was a captain there. And then after I did that, I was an instructor in Northrop Grumman, teaching the first responders of fire departments. We used to put out chemical fires. Worked out there in Edwards Air Force Base, worked out there in Palmdale, worked at Nellis. I was all in a special assignment because I had a top secret clearance at the time. So it was a very good career, and I kept going to school to change my profession. Because a lot of times people go to school, they might like it for a while, they get bored. It's never too late to go back to school. I suggest they ought to have the draft back again, at least for 2 years.
Yeah.
Then they'll straighten you out one way or the other, whether you want to go to career, you want to go to school, or you want to learn some kind of trade or knowledge for your future, because time goes fast. So this is my buddy, we went to high school together, Thomas. He just told you that he was in the Army, and I was in the Marines. And he got drafted right after high school. And then I went on to college for a couple of years to get a student deferment. But now I'm 72 years old, and I take advantage of the benefits. I got a condo in Las Vegas I bought. Okay. I bought it over 31 years ago. And I bought it on a GI Bill. Okay, right now I rent it out. I used to go up there a lot because I was working out there in Nellis. So what happened is I bought it with empty land 32 years ago. Right now it's over there by Chinatown, Spring Mountain Road. Everybody know where Spring Mountain Road is at in Chinatown. My condo's right around the corner. So I
We're there
just,
next week.
pardon me, man?
We're there next week.
Oh, yeah, oh, okay. And everybody might think I'm a gambler. No, I'm not a gambler, no, I just go for fun. So anyway, I'm gonna cut it short, everybody's getting tired of talking. Anyway, I suggest everybody join the military these couple of years after high school. If you don't know where you want to go to college, gotta straighten you out one way or the other. All right, thank you.